Welcome back, children. This is Information Technology for class 12 and the subject code is 802. This is your textbook, children, database management applications. And let us have a recap of what you have studied in the last class. Types of programming language, high level language, object oriented and procedural language, low level language, assembly language, machine language, compiler and interpreter, platform independence, Java bytecode, Java virtual machine JVM, and Java integrated development environment IDE. If you could recall what you have studied earlier, we have gone through what is a program, who is a programmer, what do you mean by high level language, low level language, and then what do you mean by portability, what is procedural language. Procedural language is nothing but it is written as sequence of instruction. And then what is object oriented language, how do machine language run, whether it is run directly by the CPU or through some other process, what is an assembly language, what is a compiler and interpreter. And if you could remember the flowchart of how execution of Java bytecode was taught to you, that is very, very important for the examination point of view. And the integrated development of NetBeans, I have shown you some of the programs, how to execute that programs, what are the different data types, and what do you mean by public, static, void, main, string, args. Every single keyword have been taught to you in detail. And finally, I completed with operators. What is an arithmetic operator, what is a relational operator, what is an assignment operator, and what is a logical operator. And I have given you the examples of how to go about doing the operators. This is what you have learned last class, children. And in this class, the contents that I will be dealing today is Java selection statements, conditional statement, if statement, if else statement, switch statement, the while statement, syntax with example, the do while statement, its syntax with example, the for statement, its syntax with example. And this is what you are going to learn today. And let us see what is a Java if-else statement is. Basically, this if-else statement is nothing but a conditional statement, and it goes like this. The Java if statement is used to test the condition. The condition statement, the final result can be either true or false. So it returns true or false. There are various types of if statement in Java. First one is if statement, the second one is if else statement, and third one is nested if statement. Now let us see the Java if statement, and for your kind information, it is a single selection. Now here it is very clearly given to you, children. The if statement tests the condition. It executes the if statement if the condition is true. As you know, condition can either be true or false. The Java if statement will only execute when the condition is true. The syntax is given below. If within bracket condition, in the place of condition you will write the condition and then followed by the parenthesis, and inside that parenthesis you will write the code for execution. And you are quite aware that the comment statement, single line comment statement, is // and if the condition or boolean expression evaluates to true, then the block of code inside the if statement will be executed. If not, the first set of code after the end of the if statement, that is after the closing curly braces, will be executed. The meaning is, if the condition is true, it will execute the statement as it is given in green color. If not, it goes out of the out of the loop, and the statement that is given outside the curly braces will be executed. I hope it is clear to you now. Now let us see the flow chart of if statement. As you know, the flow line starts from top to bottom. It comes inside. It looks for a condition. If the condition is true, it executes the if code. If the condition is false, it goes away from the if code and it executes after if statement, and finally the statement will go out of the loop. I hope this flowchart will give you a clear picture on how the statement switches from one part to another. Now, Java if statement example. For example, suppose the passing grade on an exam is 60. The pseudocode statement, if student's grade is greater than or equal to 60, print passed. This is the condition or the requirement that is given to you. You will check for the marks and you will look out for a condition if it is greater than 60%. If the condition is greater than 60%, you will print the statement called passed. Now look below, determines whether the condition student's grade is greater than or equal to 60 is true or false. If the condition is true, passed is printed and the next pseudocode statement in order is performed. If the condition is false, the print statement is ignored and the next pseudocode statement in order is performed. That is, the condition, if you have already seen here, the condition is true, then passed will be printed, otherwise the next statement in else will be printed here. The preceding pseudocode if statement can be written in Java as, it's very clearly given if grade. In the place of grade, whatever marks that you are going to feed in will come. It will look out for a condition. If suppose you give 80 for grade, 80 greater than or equal to 60 will be checked. Is 80 greater than or equal to 60 children? The condition holds good. So it prints passed, and the method that is used is system.out.println. Within double quotes, what you are giving will be printed because that statement is true. And below I have clearly given you the flow chart. It comes inside. Look out for a condition. The condition is true, grade greater than or equal to 60. So it is printing passed. If the condition is failed, for example, you are giving 20 as grade. So is 20 greater than or equal to 60? Condition fails. When the condition is failing, it will not execute that print statement at all. It comes out of the loop and then it goes out of the statement. You can also print fail when the condition is not is false. Next, now here in this example it is very clearly given public class my first program is the name of the program, and the next statement is the main method, public static void main string args. All these things are taught to you in previous class. I hope it is very clear to you. And for your kind information, this main method is the first function that will be executed by the Java compiler. This you have to know. And as you can see, int is nothing but integer, number is equal to 20 is the declaration and initialized variable. So you are initializing number with the data 20. So next line when it reads, in the place of number it will take number 20 if 20 greater than 10. Condition holds good because 20 is greater than 10. So since the condition is true, it is going to print I am in if statement as it is given below in system.out.println statement. As you are quite aware, whatever that is given within double quote will be printed. So below I have clearly given checking condition if number greater than 10, then condition is true. Since the number is 20 is greater than 10, it is printing the output as I am in if statement. Hope this is clear to you. I am giving you another example of if statement. Public class my first program followed by the main method. Here a is 10. A is a variable which is of data type integer. Now you can draw a box A. Inside that box you can fill in number 10. You can draw a box B. Inside that you can fill number 20. The next statement is if A is less than B. Is 10 less than 20? Condition is true, children, because 10 is always less than 20. So the system.out.println within double quote, the statement that is given is printed. So finally you are getting the output as this is if statement example. Hope this is very clear to you. I have given you very clear explanation on where you are declaring and how the condition is being checked and what is the output in one single frame. Hope this is very useful to you for understanding. Now one more example of if statement. Again the main method is called A is equal to 20, B is equal to 10. If A less than B, here on the blue color you can refer the blue color box. If A is less than B, then print this statement. In other case, if you are giving if this condition fails, if A is greater than B, then print this statement. So this is, if the first statement is true, it will print A is less than B. If the condition fails, it goes to the other condition and it look out for the logic, and finally it prints A is greater than B. It is depending upon the input what you are going to send, children. If the condition is good, it prints the first line, otherwise it skips that part and it goes to the next checking condition. Hope this is very clear to you. And finally the output is A is greater than B, because here as the initialization of A is 20 and B is 10, it looks for the condition and finally giving the output as A is greater than B. Now here, this is your task, children. Write a Java program which gets the value of two integers from user. That is, you are going to feed in two integer numbers and display whether the first number is lower than, that is condition number 1, equal to condition number 2, or greater than the second number. It is very simple. You are going to key in two values, and based on those two values you are going to look out for three conditions. One is less than, the second condition is equal to, the third condition is greater than. Now you can try this out and I'll help you with the next. In the next slide you have the code. Before that you can try in your own way and see if that is matching with the next slide. Now this is the solution, children. It is very clearly given. Let me maximize this here. As you can see, the main method is called integer number 1, number 2. You should call it as number underscore 1 comma number underscore 2. Scanner user underscore input is equal to new scanner system.in. This is nothing but now this scanner, that line is nothing but, see, you have a textbook. You are going to scan the textbook using the scanner. So what you will do, you will take the textbook and then keep it inside that scanner and you will make the scanning part. And soon after that your textbook contents will be displayed onto the screen. Similarly, when you are typing, when you are keying in two values, here in this case the user is going to key in the values. It is different from the previous example, because in the previous example you have initialized it as 10 and 20, but here we are giving the flexibility to the user. Let the user type any value as he like. So to do so, we are going to introduce this statement, which is scanner user underscore input is equal to new scanner system.in. That is, when the user is typing this value during runtime, it takes the value and then it is feeding the value into the variable called number underscore 1 and number underscore 2. It is going to help the data getting to the corresponding variable. Hope this is clear to you. Now next line, system.out.println. Now the user will be prompted with please enter first number. As and when the user enter the first number during runtime, that is captured by user underscore input dot next int. So that method will capture the value and it gets stored in number 1. Similarly, the next line, please enter second number. Again, the second number is captured and it is stored in number 2. Hope this is understood to you. So ultimately the scanner user underscore input is equal to new scanner system.in is nothing but it is going to help the compiler to take the value from the keyed in value from the user and it is going to store it in the 2 variable during runtime. Now you are going to check if number underscore 1 equal to. In the previous class I have already told you equal to is nothing but it will check the left hand side value and the right hand side value. If both are equal, then both numbers are equal will be printed. Otherwise, when the 2 number, it is going to check less than condition. If it is lesser, if the condition is true, then it is going to print first number is less than second. If not, if the number is greater than, number 1 is greater than number 2, it is going to look out for the printing statement first number is greater than second. And finally, if they are not equal, will also print both number are not equal. Hope this is very clear to you. The only thing what you are going to do here is you have to understand this concept of scanner user underscore input, which is equal to new scanner system.in, which is nothing but when the 2 values are entered by the user during runtime, it is going to take those 2 values and it is going to store it in the corresponding variable. And why we are doing this? Because we are giving the flexibility to the user to key in any value. Because if we are going to fix number 1 as one number, for example 5, and the second number as number 10, one of these will be printed, but we don't want only one to be printed. It is a logical statement, so we are giving the flexibility to the user to select those 2 values, and when he is selecting the 2 values, automatically the if conditional statement will be checked and finally the result is displayed onto the screen. Now look at the output, children. I want you to look at the output. Let's go through the output. The output is please enter first number. Now the user is going to key in number 6. Now this 6 will be scanned, that is scanner user underscore input is equal to new scanner system.in will take this and it is going to be stored, number 6 is going to be stored in number underscore 1 during runtime. Please enter the second number, number 4, and it is the number 4 is going to be stored in number underscore 2. And finally, based on the given condition, the first number is greater than second, and finally both numbers are not equal. Both the statement will be displayed. Hope this is clear to you. The solution is very clearly given. I want you to write this solution and then match this whether you have written the code very clearly or not. Now let us move on to the nested if statement in Java. Nested if is nothing but one if within the other. Okay. Now nested if statement in Java, it is always legal to nest if else statement, which means you can use one if or else if statement inside another if or else if statement. It is very, very simple. In mathematics, you have the concept called subset. So subset is one is big, one is small. So one inside the other is how the nested if statement is. Okay, let us now look into the syntax. The syntax for a nested if statement is as follows. As I have told you, see inside this box you can see two if statement. The first if statement is boolean underscore expression 1 executes when the boolean expression 1 is true. Otherwise, it looks out for the next if statement. It looks out for boolean underscore expression 2. If expression 1 is false, it goes to the other if and it will execute when the boolean expression 2 is true. Hope this is very clear to you. That is one inside the other. It looks out for the outer loop. The outer loop is false. It comes inside the inner loop and then it will execute the inner loop. Hope this is clear to you. In the next slide, I would show you some programs which will enable you to understand this concept better. Can we move? Now here, if boolean expression is true. Now if that is true, the first line is executed, otherwise the second line is executed is what you have to understand. Now here in this example it is very, very clear. As you can see, main method is called. Here we are initializing the variable as x is equal to 30, which is an integer data type, y is equal to 10. So two variables we are declaring and initializing. So you may draw two boxes, one as x. Inside that box you can write down 30. Another box y, inside that you can write number 10. We are going to check if x is equal to 30. Now what will happen in that statement? In the place of x, 30 will come. So ultimately you will have 30 equal to 30, which means the condition is true. This is an outer if, is very, very clearly given to you. So that condition is good. It is true. It comes inside and looks out for if y equal to 10. What is y? Y is 10. Is 10 equal to 10? Condition is matching, which is y is in the inner if loop and x is in the outer if loop. Both condition is true. So it finally prints x is equal to 30 and y is equal to 10. So nested if is nothing but one if statement within another. So that is what is called as nested if. Hope this is very, very clear to you. This frame will have the code. It will have the explanation. What is the outer if loop, what is the inner if, and what is the output. And hope this slide will clear your doubts. Let me give you another example of nested if statement. Here, after the main method, x is equal to 30, y is equal to 10. Here I have clearly given x equal to 30 is the outer if, y is equal to 5 is the inner if, and in this program outer if condition is true, so it is going to print I am y, but inner if condition is false. We will see how. X is 30, y is 10. 30 equal to 30, condition holds good. So look at the output. The output is printed as I am y. Next, y equal to 5. What is y? Y is 10. Is 10 equal to 5? Condition is false. When the condition is false, it will come out of the loop. But we have already printed what is I am y, which is the outer if loop. Here what you are going to do is the inner if statement is not executed because the condition is false. Have you understood this, children? Can I move on to the next slide? One more example. Let me give it to you. Look at the outer if statement. What is outer if? X equal to 20 is the outer if. What is inner if? Inner if is y equal to 10 is the inner if. Now look at the outer if. X is equal to 30. when you execute that 30 equal to 20, condition is false. Where is condition false? Condition is false in outer if statement. Now it comes to the inner if statement. What is y? Y is 10. Is 10 equal to 10? Condition is true. So it is printing I am x, which is very clearly given in the statement. Please note that outer if condition is false. So compiler never checks the inner if condition even it is true. So outer if is false. When the outer if is false, though the inner if statement y is equal to 10 is correct, it will not execute that statement. So ultimately the output is nothing, is what is given. As you can see below, in the output run is given but nothing is displayed to you. That means nothing has been printed onto the screen. The idea is when the outer loop is false, it will not check the inner loop. Java if else statement, double selection. Let us see what it is. Java if else statement. The if else statement also tests the condition. It executes the if block if condition is true, otherwise executes else block. Syntax: if condition is true, the first statement is executed, else if it is false, the false statement is executed. It is very clearly given to you within a box. So hope this is very clear to you. Let me move on to the next slide. As you can see the flowchart of if statement. The condition is checked if the condition is true, as it is very clearly given to you here. If the condition is true, the if code is executed, otherwise the else code is executed. This is what you have to understand here. The if else statement example. For example, suppose the passing grade on an exam is 60, the pseudocode statement. If student grade is greater than or equal to 60, print passed, else print failed. This is the condition. If it is greater than 60, you are going to print pass, otherwise you are going to print fail. This is a classical example of if else statement, because when first statement you are going to check the value. If it is true, passed is printed. If the mark is less than 60, you are going to print fail, which is the else statement. Prints passed if the student grade is greater than or equal to 60, but prints fail if the student grade is less than 60. In either case, after printing occurs, the next pseudocode statement in sequence is performed. Now program example of if else statement. Now on the right hand side, look at the blue color box. If number is less than 30, then execute this statement. Otherwise execute this statement. If condition is failed. For example, here number is equal to 30. It looks out for the condition number less than 30. That means 30 is not less than 30. Condition fails. When the condition is failing, it skips the if statement and it reads the else statement. Now what is the statement read? It reads system.out.println, this is else statement. So finally the output is this is else statement. Hope this is clear to you. That is what I have clearly given to you. For your better understanding, I have given you arrow marks. Checking two conditions here: is number less than 30, is number equal to 30. Now the first condition on top, number is 30, number less than or equal to 30. When you have the condition 30 less than or equal to 30, the condition is true. So it is printing this is if statement. It will not go to the else statement because on top it has been, the condition is true, so it has printed the top statement. Now output is clearly given below. As you can see, this is if statement is printed. Now note here, I have clearly given you like a distinguished between On the left hand side it is if number less than or equal to 30, but on the right hand side it is number less than 30. I believe you know the difference between less than or equal to and less than 30. So the output will vary accordingly. On the left hand side it is printing this is if statement because the condition is true, but on the right hand side, since the condition is false, it is printing the else statement called this is else statement. Now go to the problem statement. Prompt user to enter a value. Check if the number is even, then display a message the number is even. If the number is odd, then display message number is odd. So you are going to take if else statement because you are going to key in the value. You are going to look out for the condition of whether it is an even number. If it is an even number, if statement is printed. If it is an odd number, else statement is printed. It is as simple as that, children. Now here, since we have asked the user to key in the value, we are importing java.util.scanner, which is already told to you. The scanner is nothing but it will help the user to pick the values during the runtime, and it is going to store it in the variables. Why we are doing here like this? Because we are not going to initialize the value, but we are going to get the value from the user during the runtime. The user may key in any value during the runtime. That is why we are using this import java.util.scanner. My first program is invoke. Then we are calling the main method int number. Now only the box is there. Since you have not initialized any value, it is left blank because you are going to give the number during the runtime. As you are quite aware, scanner user underscore input is equal to new scanner system.in, which will facilitate to collect the number from the user during the runtime, and it is going to store it in the variable called number. Now please enter a number is prompt to the user. As and when it is prompt, the user is going to key in the value. Any value can be here. Look at the output. Please enter a number is prompt by the compiler. Now the user is giving number 10. Where is this 10 getting stored? In number. Look at the line. Number is equal to user underscore input dot next int open bracket close bracket will take this number 10 and it is getting stored in the variable called number, which is of data type integer. Next, if number percentage 2 is equal to 0, percentage will look out for the remainder value. Now what is the number? Number is 10. 10 percentage 2. Divide that number 10 by 2 and look out for the remainder. What is the remainder value? The remainder value, what you are going to get after dividing number 10 by 2 is equal to 0. So if the condition is true, now it is going to print system.out.println open bracket plus number is given. In the place of plus number, that number 10 is displayed. So 10 is an even number is displayed to you, and since the top if statement is already displayed, it skips the odd number part which is given in the else statement. So there is only one output, that is 10 is an even number. Problem statement. Now this is an exercise for you. Write a Java program which inputs the marks obtained by student. If the marks are equal to or greater than 50, then display the message you are pass, else sorry you are fail. Again you are going to do it using the if statement. You may try this, and after you do this you will match it. Look out for whether it is exactly matching the code that is given in the next slide. A solution for the previous program. Now let me enlarge this. As you already know, the user is going to key in the value during the runtime. So we are importing java.util.scanner followed by invoking the main method main int marks. So integer marks, you draw a box and you leave it blank, meaning you are going to key in the value during the runtime. Okay, and then scanner, as you know the statement, scanner user underscore input is equal to new scanner system.in will help the user to key in the value, and that value is getting stored in the variable called marks during runtime. Now the user will be prompt with please enter your marks. The user may key in any value, and if that is greater than or equal to 50, for example, if the user is giving 80 as marks, 80 as marks, 80 greater than or equal to 50, condition holds good, so you will get the statement as congratulations, you are passed. But if the user keyed in value is less than 50, it skips the if statement and it goes to the else statement and it prints sorry, you are failed. Hope this is very clear to you. Now look at the output. The user has given number 50. So since it is greater than or equal to 50, so equal to is matching, so it is printing congratulations, you are passed, as you can see below in the output. Now take a look at this task. Please read this, children. This is your task. Write a Java program to check whether a triangle is valid or not. When the three angles of the triangle are entered by the user, the triangle is valid if the sums of three angles is equal to 180 degree. As you know, the triangle will have angle A, angle B and angle C, each having 60, 60, 60. So when you add those angle A, angle B and angle C, 60 plus 60, 120 plus 60, which is equal to 180 degrees should come. Now, how you are going to write the code? The idea is very simple. You are going to key in three values A, B, C, and you are going to sum them together and check whether it is equal to 180 or not. If it is equal to 180, then you will say the triangle is valid. Otherwise, you will say it is invalid. It is as simple as that. Now look at this. It's very, very simple, children. The idea is very, very clear. You are calling the main statement int angle underscore 1, angle underscore 2, angle underscore 3. So you are going to get the input from the user during runtime. So you are calling scanner user underscore input is equal to new scanner system.in. Now the user is prompted with please enter first angle. As and when you enter the angle, if it is 60, it is getting stored in angle 1. The next one, second angle, if it is equal to 60, it is going to stored in angle 2. The third angle also is being entered, and here you are looking for a condition if angle underscore 1 plus angle underscore 2 plus angle underscore 3 equal to 180. That means if all are 60, 60, 60, it will exactly be equal to 180. In that case, triangle is valid is printed. If it is not true, that is if the user is going to key in some other value which is not equal to 60 for angle A, angle B and angle C, then it will print triangle is not valid. Now let us see what the user has keyed in. Now as I told you, the first angle given by the user during runtime is 60. The second angle during the runtime is 60. Third angle is 60. So it is going to add up 60 plus 60 plus 60, which is 180, and look at the if statement. It is equal to 180, so triangle is valid is printed as it is given very clearly on the screen. Now let us move on to the switch statement in Java. A switch statement in Java. A switch statement allows a user to be tested for equality against a list of values. Each value is called a case, and the variable being switched on is checked for each case. Syntax. Let us see the syntax. Switch expression. Expression is nothing but the condition what you are going to check in. Case. Value is the first condition. If the first condition is true, it prints the first statement. Break. It comes out of the loop. It looks out for the second case value. If it is matching, then the next statement is printed. break, it comes out of the loop. Or if it is not matching with any of the cases, it prints a default value. Let me give you one simple example, calendar example I can give you. As you know, there are 7 days in a week. Okay, if you give the expression as if the user is going to key in value 1, you may say 1 is Sunday, 2 is Monday, 3 something like that. So finally 6 is Saturday. Now in switch, you look out for the expression. The user may key in any value. If he is going to key in the value as 1, which is the expression, case you can say case 1 colon and say print Sunday. So when the user is giving 1, the first case is matching and then it prints Sunday. So once the Sunday is printed, you don't have to print other days of the week. When the break statement is encountered, it comes out of the loop. If the user is going to key in number 2, Sunday will be skipped off. It prints the day as Monday, and then after looking at the break statement, it comes out of the loop. The user may key in some other value. For example, if the user is going to key in number 10, it will not fall under any category because we have only 7 days. And finally, the default value, that is, please check the value entered. That alert message will be given to the user so that he can give the clear example. Hope this is clear to you, children. Now the break statement is also very important. You are going to use the break statement in switch statement. In Java, break statement is used for termination of the loop statement and switch case statement. Syntax of break is very simple, break and followed by the semicolon. Now program statement is given to you. As it is very clear, you are calling the main method, then number is equal to 20, switch number. Now in that place 20 will come, switch 20. What is case? Case 10 will be ignored because the number what you are giving is 20. So it will not read the first line, it goes to the second line, which is case 20, it is matching. So system.out.println 20. So 20 is printed, and when it comes to the break statement, it cuts there and then it comes out of the loop. So finally the result is 20. Let me ask you another question. If the number which is going to be keyed in by the user is 100, what will happen? Switch number. In that place of number 100 will come. Will it match with case 10? No, it will not match, so it skips. Case 20, 100 will not match with 20. Next, 100 will not match with 30. And finally, the default value will be encountered. And then output statement of not in 10, 20 or 30 will be displayed when the number is more than 10 or 20 or 30. Hope this is clear to you. Now go through this program very carefully, children. This is already I told you about this days of the week using the switch statement. This is given in your textbook. Please take a look at this. Now in this program, the main method is called. Int today is 5 is given. So the variable is of type integer, it is 5. So what is case of 5? Case of 5 is Friday is given. So since 5 will not look out the case 1 because it will not be matching with the case 1. First condition is ruled out, second condition is ruled out, third, fourth and fifth condition is matching. So it is going to print Friday, and looking at the break statement, it comes out of the loop. Now let me ask you one question. What if I don't give a break statement after Friday? If you don't give a break statement, it prints Friday, it prints Saturday and it prints Sunday as well. So break statement is very important, because break statement will, after executing the statement which is true, it will print only once and it goes out of the loop. So that is the uh, basic objective of using a break statement. Now as it is given, the output, since 5 is preferred by the user, Friday is given to you. This is as it is given in your textbook. Please make a note of it. Now repetition or loops. Java iteration statements are these statements. These statements are commonly called as loops. A loop repeatedly executes the same set of instructions until a termination condition is met. For example, if you are going to print number 1 to 10, so you will look out for a condition in if statement if I less than or equal to 10, and then you increment the value of I. So when this is done, it is very easily the number 1 to 10 will be printed. Looking for a condition, it should not exceed number 10. Problem without loops. For example, if you want to print hello for 10 times, we need to call the print statement 10 times. If it is not in loop, you have to give system.out.println 10 times. You have to type it out, which is time consuming. This could be achieved by explicitly calling print statement 10 times as shown in the next slide. See, this is the drawback of typing the commands line by line. This is, you have to type this many number of times, but using the repetitive statement, you can call only one time of system.out.println, so the loop will automatically print when the condition is true. So that is the advantage of having a repetitive statement. If repetitive statement is not there, you have to type that many number of times as it is given on the screen. For example, if you are going to print number 1 to 100, if you do not follow repetitive statement, you have to type system.out.println for 100 times, which is logically incorrect. So that is why to overcome that, we use the repetitive loops. Now repetitive loops, consider the following declaration. The integer is a to j we have declared. So what are the issues? Variables of the same data type, that is integer. Number 2, individual operation, that is example input is needed for each variable. Every time you have to prompt the user to give the input using things like this. But what is the better solution? When you use the loops, one variable will be enough for the 10 input variables. So by calling only one variable, which will minimize the storage space, but it will also do what we are going to do with the appropriate logic. So that is the advantage of having a repetitive loop statement. I hope this is very clear to you. Now repetitive loops, every loop can be defined by 3 ways. What are they? The starting point, the ending point, and the sequence of moving. These 3 things are very, very important, because this is the basic fundamental thing which we have to know. Where you start and where you stop, and what is the sequence, whether it is sequence of step value as 1 or whether the step value is 2, so on and so forth. So these 3 things are very, very important. You have to keep it in mind when you use a repetitive loop statement. Now while loop in Java. While test condition block of code, this is the syntax that is given to you. As and when the condition is true, it will execute the block of code, is what is given to you. The test condition must be included in parenthesis. Parenthesis is nothing but the open bracket and close bracket as it is given above. The block of code is called the body of the loop and is enclosed in braces and indented for readability. The braces are not required if the body is composed of only one statement. The meaning is, if you are going to have only one statement, those 2 brackets are not necessary. If you have more than one statement, you need to include those 2 brackets. Semicolons follows the statement within the block only. So semicolon is, it is nothing but it is going to terminate that particular statement. So semicolon is also very, very important. As you know, syntax is very, very important. If you forget to mention that semicolon, definitely you will get an error. So you write and practice this syntax. A syntax of while loop, as I have already told you, the condition is while open bracket condition. If that is true, statements to be included. Since I have given it as statements, because if you have only one statement, there is no need for the curly brace, open bracket and close bracket. But if you have more than one statement, you have to include that curly brace, open bracket and close bracket, and do not forget to include the semicolon. Now look at the flowchart of while loop. Condition, test condition. If the test condition is true, it comes inside the loop, body of while loop, and the iterative statement, that is the loop statement, will follow. It looks for the condition next time, again it follows. And finally, when the condition is failed, it comes out of the loop as statement just below while loop. So hope this is very clear to you. The true statement will be executed that many number of times based on the condition that is set. Okay. Now while loop example. Now here we are going to print number 10 to 14. How? Main method is called x is equal to 10. We are looking out for a condition x which is 10 less than 15. Is 10 less than 15? It prints the value of x as 10. The next line x plus plus is nothing but you are incrementing one more plus 1 to that number 10. Now the value is 11. And system.out.println print backslash of n is nothing but you are printing a new line. As you can see here in the output says value of x 10 followed by the new line. Now the value of 10 is incremented to 11. Is 11 less than 15? Condition holds good. It comes inside that loop. It prints value 11. It takes the increment as 12 and then it looks for the condition 12 less than 15. Prints value 12. Increment the value as 13. Then finally the value of 14 is also printed. It is very clearly given. Now look at the right hand part. Starting value is nothing but x is equal to 10 is the starting point. Ending point of the loop is also given to you. What is the ending point? Ending point is till 15 and not 15 because it is less than, strictly less than 15. So it takes only value till 14 and finally it follows the sequence. What is the sequence? Sequence is plus 1. Add 1 to the result and then keep printing it till you reach number 15. Finally, when you reach number 15, condition fails and it comes out of the loop. Hope this is very clear to you. I have given it very clearly on the right hand side. What is the starting point? What is the ending point? What is the sequence? What it is going to print and how the new line is going to be printed. If the new line is not given, it will print in one single line, which is very confusing to you. Since we need one below the other, that system.out.print backslash n is nothing but new line. New line is printed soon after you print for one value. Now here it is very clearly given how it is getting initialized, what is updated, what is the text expression, whether it is true or not, what it is going to print, as it is clearly given in the below box. What I have told you is clearly given step by step. Please take a look at it. Hope this is clear to you. X is 10. It lookouts for the condition. Condition holds good. 10 is printed. X plus plus is nothing but 1 is added to 10. Now the number is 11. It prints the new line. Is 11 less than 15? Condition holds good. Prints 11. Takes the increment as 12. New line is printed. Similarly, this follows till x is 14. When x is 14, condition holds good. It prints value 14. But when it takes number 15, as you can see the last line, value x is updated to 15. Text expression x is less than 15. That is strictly less than 15. So it is false and the while loop is terminated. Now explanation of while loop. Again one more example I have given you, but now here you are going to print it in the reverse order. How to do it? The starting point is I is equal to 5. What is the test expression? It should check when I is greater than or equal to 1, because we are going to do it in the reverse order, that is 5 followed by 4 followed by 3 followed by 2 and finally followed by 1. And what is the sequence? Sequence is minus 1. I minus minus is nothing but it is going to detect one value, that is minus 1 with the previous value. Initial value I is equal to 5 is 5 greater than or equal to 1. Condition is true. It prints I, which is 5, and then I is decremented to 4. You can also add backslash of n here, because when you add backslash of n it prints the new line. And after that 4 is 4 greater than or equal to 1. 4 is printed. Now the value is directed to 3. 3 is printed, then 2 is printed, then 1 is printed. After that value of I becomes 0. Is 0 greater than or equal to 1? Condition fails, it comes out of the loop. Now what I have told you here is clearly given. Look at the last line. Variable I is updated to 0. Test expression I greater than 1 is false and the while loop is terminated. Please take a look at this slide very carefully, children. This will explain you step by step. Now let us move on to the next slide. Now we will move on to do while loop in Java. As you can see, the code is do block of code while test condition semicolon. Now if you could make out the difference between the while loop and do while loop, while will execute when the condition is true. If the condition is false, it will not get executed. But do while loop will execute at least once, even if the test condition is failed, because we are not having the test condition close to do. We are not going to check the condition first. It will print the initial statement and then it looks out for the condition. That's the main difference between the while loop and do while loop. Do while loop will print the statement at least once, even if the test condition is false. This is what you have to learn. Note, if the body of the loop is only one statement, then braces, open bracket, close bracket are not needed. Body of the loop may have one or more statements. Semicolon is present after while. At least, this is very very important, at least once body of the loop is executed, even the condition is false. Syntax of do while loop, as you can see, after condition is the semicolon. So even if the condition is failed, the statement which is given within the curly braces will be executed at least once. An explanation of do while loop is given very clearly. Look at the starting point value. Look at the statement, at least one time it is executed before checking. Look at the sequence. Sequence is incremented by 1. The test condition and ending point of the do while loop is given very clearly to you. Let me explain. X is equal to 10. It comes inside the loop. It is not checking the value because the condition is below. So x is 10. Value of x is printed, which is 10. Now it is incremented to 11 because x plus plus will make increment plus 1 to 10. Now the value of x will be 11. New line is printed. It comes and checks the value. Is 11 less than 15? Condition holds good. It goes above. Then the looping statement, repeated statement is done. Finally the value of x 14 is printed. After that x value is incremented to 15. Is 15 strictly less than 15? Condition fails. It comes out of the loop. So finally the output what you are going to print is, you are going to print the value of x from 10 to 14. When it is 15, it is false, it comes out of the loop. That is what is given in the steps. That is what I have told you. Look at the last statement. Now checking x is equal to 15 with test expression x strictly less than 15, which is false. So loop is terminated, it comes out of the loop. Take a look at this statement, because this will explain each and every line how the calculation is done line by line. Okay, let us move on to the next slide. For loop. For loop is again the next looping statement. What are the looping statement we have seen before? The looping statement is while loop, and then secondly it is do while loop. Now the third one is for loop. The syntax of for loop is given very clearly. The starting point is start expression, semicolon, very important, and then test expression is the condition what you are going to check, semicolon, followed by the expression sequence. That sequence maybe it can have an increment operator or it can have the decrement operator as well. Block of code is the statement that is going to be executed when that condition is true. For loop in example in Java, you are calling the main function, main method or main function. I is 1, which is the starting value, I less than or equal to 5, which is the test expression or the condition that you are going to check. I plus plus is the incrementing value. So I value is incremented 1 to 1 every time this code is executed. So it prints value 1 first time, it goes and increments the value of I as 2, is 2 less than or equal to 5, 2 is printed, 3 less than or equal to 5, condition is true, 3 is printed, 4 is less than or equal to 5, condition is true, 4 is printed, 5 less than or equal to, this is very very important because 5 is less than or equal to is true, so 5 is printed. Next time I value is incremented to plus 1, that is 6, is 6 less than or equal to 5, condition fails, so it comes out of the loop. So finally the output is starting from 1 to 5. Now in the next example we are going to print the fifth table from 1 to 10. How it is done with the help of the for statement. Main method is called I is 1, I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus. Meaning is you are going to print the value 5 starting from 1 to 10. System.out.println, whatever that is given within double quote is printed. So 5x is printed. I plus is nothing but the value of I will come and gets replaced in that place. First initially it is 1 equal to 5 into I, which is 1. Next I value is incremented to 2. So 5 multiplied by 2 is equal to 5 into 2, which is 10, is printed. New line is printed. Now I value is 3, 5 into 3 is equal to 5 into 3, which is 15. So this loop is continued till the value of I is 10, and finally the 10th, that is 5 multiplied by 10 is equal to 50, is printed. The next time I value is 11, is 11 less than or equal to 10, condition fails, so it will come out of the loop. So after that you get the output as fifth table 1 to 10. Hope this is very very clear to you. It's very very simple, you can try this. And we have come to the end of this session. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson. So we will meet in next class. In the meantime, you go through all the lesson, you practice the code in the computer, write and practice, because the more and more you write, it gets registered in your mind for a very very long time. When you write and practice, you won't make mistakes. So my humble request is keep writing. You can write the code in slate also if you are running short of paper. So make the best use of this, and we will meet in the next class. Thank you, children.